Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Lanza, please correct me if I hear you right. It is my house, it's my wife, it's my children, my child. You telling me that with this bill, I will have no power to decide I don't want this person in my house with my child, with my children?
Mr. President, through you. I think that you can, and I don't think that there's any law, I hope, that we can draft that would require you to allow anyone in your home who you didn't wish to have there. But under this legislation, I believe, first, there are certain things that you must do before that happens. You need to continue to pay that person after you've asked them to leave. If you're in the situation where you need to have a nanny, it means that you'll have to pay for another nanny. So you'll be paying for two, only getting one. Remember, the people in this situation are in this situation because they can't afford to be in another situation. And I also believe potentially that you'll be called to explain.
Senator Savino, why do you rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. I think it would be better if I answered the question for Senator Diaz.
Well,
considering I am the sponsor of the bill, and this is a section of the bill.
Senator Savino. Senator Savino.
Yes.
While I certainly look forward to hearing your discussion on the bill, Senator Lanza has the floor. Senator Diaz did ask him to yield for a question. Senator Lanza is answering the question, and I am sure momentarily you will have an opportunity to correct Senator Lanza if he's incorrect and provide an explanation, I'm sure a detailed explanation on the bill, but pursuant to the rules, Senator Lanza does have the floor, and the only way is if he were to yield to you to answer the question. That's up to Senator Lanza.
he said it, Senator.
Thank you.
Senator Lanza, you may continue.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I'll answer the question, and then Senator Diaz, I'm sure, is free to ask anyone in the chamber questions that he has. And so you can ask that person to leave the home. You do then have a further responsibility. There is also the question of whether or not you'll be required to answer questions with respect to the decision you made. And my position is that a parent should never be forced to answer to anyone when it comes to someone being alone with their child in their home. And then there's the question of whether or not a cause of action may be created by this legislation. And I'm not concluding that one is, but I'm not sure. And all that, I think, goes toward creating a disincentive for a mother or a father to listen to their intuition, knowing that they may have to answer for their decision. There may be some liability. There's certainly a cost with respect to their decision. I think all that may play toward causing some parents to think twice before they listen to their own feelings. And I think that's a bad precedent.
With Senator Lanza, yield for one more question, one last question.
Senator Lanza, will you yield for one last question from Senator Diaz?
Yes, Mr. President.
Senator Lanza will yield. Senator Diaz.
Senator Lanza, thank you, Mr. President. Senator Lanza, if I had someone working in my house and I suspect that the person is abusing, assaulting, or doing something wrong to my baby, but I don't want to accuse the person. I just don't want to say she's doing this or he's doing this. But my suspicion bothers me. So I would like to tell the person, go out now, forget about it. Could I be sued for that? Or do I have to go and explain someone the reason why and accuse the person? Would I be forced to accuse the person?
Through you, Mr. President, you know, Senator, I'm not sure, and that's the problem I have with this. We all have experienced the unintended consequences of legislation, especially in this field, the labor field, where I think good-intentioned legislation designed to protect workers sometimes allows for some, yes, a few, but always too many, to game the system and that legislation. And so that is my concern here. And if that's what a parent believes, then I think the parent will be faced with a very conflicted course of action. Number one, because remember, when you question and you try to analyze a feeling or intuition when it comes to a parent, it's not always evident. You can't point to one thing or another. It's not tangible quite often. And so even a parent might say, maybe I'm getting it wrong on this one. Today, my grandfather used to have an expression when it came to food, when in doubt, throw it out. Today you might just follow it because, after all, the stakes are as high as they ever get in this life. With this legislation, you might say, well, I may get sued. I may have to get hauled before some government agency and explain the cause. I have to pay for a couple of weeks and get another nanny and pay that person. So I think we're getting in the way of something that I think is an important impulse and something for which, or to which, parents should be able to, the way they have for time immemorial, listen to and to heed, especially, again, when it comes to a woman's intuition, a mother's intuition. I've seen it, and let me just tell you, if my wife ever turned to me and said, I can't explain this, and it's with respect to one of my babies, but I have a bad feeling, that's enough. That's beyond a reasonable doubt as far as I'm concerned. I would never, nor would I want anyone ever, to be in a position where they felt it was important to question that. And that's the concern I have with this legislation.